DEI, abortions, EVs, and weed. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Yeah, that's pretty much the agenda. More giveaways to the BLMers and placating the trans lobby, a relentless push for abortion on demand, an end to gas-powered cars and stoves, and cannabis shops on every street corner. And then throw in some unconstitutional student loan forgiveness. This is how they hope to entice you to vote against your own economic self-interest. And don't forget who's waiting in the wings.
We understand that you can't truly invest in the strength of our nation if you don't pay attention to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Inflation Reduction Act, which is about at least $1 trillion invested in the climate, but a clean energy economy. We are in the process of putting a lot of money in the streets of America.
A lot of money in the streets of America. Translation: we're borrowing and printing money we don't have and driving up inflation. Now, I don't know what's worse, her hyena-like laugh or her imbecilic thinking. But it turns out voters are onto their shell game. The new Gallup survey is showing why the never-Trumpers are freaking out right now. Much more foreboding for Joe and Kamala than the chaos on campus is the chaos in the economy. Only 38% of U.S. adults say they have a great deal or a fair amount of confidence in Biden to take the right steps for the economy. And by capitulating to the squad and all these social issues, like elevating trans radicals over girls and women athletes and ceding to all their wild climate demands, well, they've lost the debates on the issues that people actually care about the most. Now, at this point, I think most Americans agree that they're going to be safer and more prosperous for sure if we reelect Donald Trump. So all they can do on the Democrat side is try as hard as they can to peel off votes by dangling items on the liberal wish list in front of them. And yes, if you love that skunk urine smell of marijuana as you drive into most major cities these days, get ready to smell it everywhere in a Biden second term. Then there's the battleground scramble for Biden. Well, to try to salvage Michigan. Biden's even appealing to the pro-Hamas crowd by pausing ammo shipments to Israel. Wait a second, didn't a move like that kind of get Trump impeached when Ukraine was involved? Of course, if none of that works, his official, or unofficial, I guess, to be accurate, comm staffers, they step in to repeat their tired old lines.
Unlike 2016, Trump's, brazenly being autocratic in his desires.
The choice so stark, there's little doubt this really is the most important election of our time. Trump says no violence if he wins. All bets are off if he loses.
Jonathan, you know better than that. You don't even believe that. And they're worried when Auntie Maxine starts throwing her weight around.
I'm going to ask the Justice Department and I'm going to ask the president to tell us what they're going to do to protect this country against violence if he loses. I want to know about all of those right-wing organizations that he's connected with who are training up in the hills somewhere and targeting, what communities they're going to attack.
I mean, you smell the desperation. If she actually believes what she's saying, the woman's not a half-wit, she's a quarter-wit. The bottom line here is this. A party that's confident in its agenda and really upbeat about the future, what does that party do? It brags about its impressive record. Certainly, they don't need to collapse into this dystopian delusion.
If Donald Trump gets reelected, there is no doubt that he will try to stay in office beyond his 4-year term. He will destroy this country, our democracy.
No, sorry. Do they realize or not realize that they've lost all credibility on the protecting democracy issue? They don't see it. They don't look in the mirror. Well, you lose all credibility on that when you happen to be the party that's trying to put your chief political opponent in jail. Yet there seems to be no end to their sick fantasies. Like another one from this writer Tom Nichols in The Atlantic, where he imagines the former president and right-wing governors attempting to use the U.S. military and National Guard as their personal muscle. He warns that the voters need to use their imaginations, because they're not too stupid to really think for themselves, to see how Trump in charge will, quote, paralyze democracy limb by limb. Okay, that's just bad writing. Beneath all these slurs, the phony fear-mongering, and the nonstop gaslighting, Biden's campaign knows that what it's really asking is it's asking people to vote to make themselves and the country poorer and weaker. And man, that's a hard sell. So they dress it all up with a lot of lame rhetoric about equity and climate consciousness and all the stuff we just talked about. Now remember, this is now a party that doesn't like Americans anyway. So they don't really care if you suffer. If things end up where they should end up in November and Biden shuffles out to concede on election night, the only thing we need to worry about is whether these self-proclaimed defenders of democracy will themselves really accept the will of the voters for whom they have shown so little respect. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.